Oh, oh, hey, astronauts. Just fixing this really quick. All right. Is it cleaned? Just make sure I just. Ooh, there we go. All right. All right. I am here just a few minutes behind. I think that's fine. Let me test the sound for you guys. Woo. Testing the sound. Testing the sound. Check, check. Check, check. All right. That is perfect. We are live. We are live. I believe I posted the time and everything, so it should be good. Sound is good. Perfect. All right. Welcome to Astro Tarot Research Live. You know, it's Brandi as usual. Got to do my introductions. So, if you are new here, I am a practical tarot reader and an astrology researcher. So, what that means is I like to combine my, 15 plus years of experience when it comes to reading tarot cards and doing, readings for other people, and whether that's astrology, whether that's tarot, and give you grounded insights based off of those experiences. Now, if you're in a sensitive place in your life, or if you're sort of more looking for like validation, or have someone say, everything's going to be okay, everything's going to be all right, more comforting type of message, that is not me. I like to read what the cards are displaying. Don't get me wrong, I will try to deliver it gently, but ultimately I prefer to go by my experience. So just wanted to give that background into everything. I don't know why it looks like I'm so teeny here. The glare's probably from the light outside. But yes, oh, that is what I wanted to say. Sorry, I'm a little tired. It is that time. It's that time in grad school where everything is just like super intense, and so I'm not getting much sleep, guys. But that's fine. I am here and I'm happy to be here. This week I'm using the Plastic Oracle from Mean Girls Tarot. One of my favorite decks. Got this one this year. Really love it. Mean Girls, one of my favorite movies. Very clever, very smart, very funny. So I'm using that deck today. Oh, and let me create the polls. What am I doing? I love creating the polls. Let me get to this. All right. Poll creation time. What should we talk about this week? Let's see on the polls. Whew. Let's see. Hey, Smiley, how are you? I hope you're doing okay this week or weekend. This week's almost over. This Mercury retrograde period's definitely being interesting. And let me shuffle these cards too. I'm trying to think of like a good weekly collective question. Oh, I'm glad to hear you are doing good. It's almost the end of the year, so I hope that good spirit stays with you from the end of the year and onward to 2026 too. Let me see. Okay. I think I have a good question for the polls. Oh, did I pick the wrong thing? I clicked Q&A. All right. I'm just starting the polls right now. If you guys are coming in, let me see. I don't think I've asked this. I really don't. Let's see. And I wish I had more than 4 options, but here we are. All right. Poll is created. And you're welcome. So this week's question I want to ask is your favorite movie genre. We have documentary, drama, thriller, romance. Unfortunately, we only have 4 options here. So I just chose the first 4 I could think of that might be okay. I thought about comedy, but I was like, I just don't know too many people whose favorite genre is comedy. So I didn't want to throw that out there. But thriller, good choice. I think I would choose romance. I've probably seen so many romantic films. It is incredible. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, I'm a little tired, but I'm just shuffling away so we could just jump into the weekly collective. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. As usual, just in case you're new here, questions are $5 for yes or no, $10 for in-depth. And you can go through PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat. Information for the PayPal and Cash App, my username and all that is in the description bar below. When it comes to readings, I do not have a limit on the amount of cards that I will pull. I am just here to give you a full comprehensive answer and to reveal some insights that Spirit wants to give. That is my goal, and that is what I set out to do. I think it's also important to know I do not take any sort of like medical, legal questions. I think it's best to, consult a professional and when it comes to those matters. And then also remember, this is tarot, and you can ask me astrology questions too. I might introduce that next year, but for now, I'm just going to say, if you want to ask me astrology questions, same thing applies. But there's a but I was going to add there. I'm trying to remember what it was. Ooh, these cards are flying. Trying to remember what it was. See, I got sleepy brain. I'll just say I'll make a more formal procedure thing for astrology next year, since I can't remember what I was going to go say. But doesn't matter. All right. We are on to the weekly collective. All right. So we've got a few cards. Lately, I've been having you guys participate, and there aren't many of you here, but, so I may have to just pull these cards myself, but that's fine. So last week, when it came to our weekly collective, we pulled the King of Wands, the Hangman, and Temperance. And so you may have felt like last week was a bit of like up and down. No, feline, I do not do any free questions. But as I was saying, and you can see the pinned comment there, and also in the description bar below, the prices of any questions when it comes to readings. Now, as I was saying, last week in our weekly collective, we have our King of Wands, and we also had the Hangman, the Temperance card. And so you may have felt like this week was a bit of up and down when it came to energy levels. Maybe you felt like you were exerting yourself energy-wise through various points in the week, and then you've had to relax and come down and relax the other portions in the week. Sometimes this can look a little bit like a last minute grind, when you have to get something done. And so you spend all your time and energy trying to get things done that one day. This week could have felt like that. Also, when we have the Hangman and Patience here, I don't know why these cards are flying like this. Um, Hangman and Temperance card here, it represents needing to be patient, needing to wait for something. It can also represent contemplating future actions that you are going to take, or even feeling like you're in like a transition sort of phase. Sometimes the Hangman can indicate like a limbo period where you're just trying to get to that next place, but there are external circumstances that you can't control that are saying, hey, you just need to wait. So this week could have felt like that in some regard. Now, let's pull these cards here since they've been flying so much. So for this week, we have the 10 of Wands, and we have the 7 of Swords reversed, and we have the World card here reversed. Oh, and Smiley has a question. I will get to it right away after this weekly collective, Smiley. So this week, kind of like what I was saying a little bit before, where we are still within this sort of high-paced energy, there is a lot that we need to take care of, and it feels like we are just pushing through. You know, that 10 of Wands energy is very overwhelmed, a little bit overstimulated. Everything is flying at them at once, and they are carrying everything on their back. The good thing I will say about the 10 of Wands is normally I see the 10 of Wands to be very successful, strangely enough, even though they're carrying so much on their plate. And people can see how much they're carrying on their plate as well. So people might stop and say, hey, you know, you look a little bit tired lately. I can tell you've been working hard. You've been sighing a lot. You got the bags under your eyes. You have been grinding away. So people will see your efforts. They see everything that you're doing and all of the energy that you're putting into the work that you're doing, whatever that is in life. You know, there's a lot of things that we work towards, whether that's school, our jobs, our careers, any sort of personal goals that you have. People can see how hard you are working and putting your work into the max. So we got this 7 of Swords and this World card reverse. 7 of Swords generally reverse, I notice, has to do with sort of having people take accountability, even coming back and having to not necessarily always apologize, but sometimes it can have to do with a more personal feel, meaning like I want to evaluate my own actions. And it's not necessarily that you're doing anything that is wrong, but there could be areas in your life that you might need to improve on. For example, I've seen the 7 of Swords reverse come up to represent a case where someone had to reevaluate like how they chose to deliver their message, rather than like, oh, they weren't saying anything wrong, but it's just like, okay, maybe you could have phrased that a little bit differently. And so sometimes the 7 of Swords is like, let me re-strategize when it's reversed. Let me go back and think about a better way I can maybe do something. But then in other cases, like I said, it is essentially people getting their moment, their karma, having to deal with situations or awkward conversations where either you're calling someone else out or somebody else is calling that person out, or even maybe you're getting called out. But whatever the case may be, that can be what the 7 of Swords mean. And that's what I've seen it when it's in its reverse position. The World card here reverse is interesting because that can represent unfinished business. There's a few things that you might need to wrap up. It's like, oh, I'm so close to the finish line. You're in this 10 of Wands, you're trying to push through, go across the finish line when it comes to some goal or certain thing, but you're not quite there yet. And then oftentimes the World card can represent that I haven't been able to complete everything that I would like to complete, or I'm a little bit dissatisfied with things. Sometimes the World card reminds me of the 6 of Wands reverse, where it's like, I won, but I don't feel like a winner. You know, I don't feel like all that great about it. And I can understand that because we got the 10 of Wands early in the week and the World card reverse. So it can just represent, I feel burnt out. And quickly, because you guys know I go into my rants and my stories, I was listening to this podcast this week, and this therapist was talking about how sometimes success can come with a lot of trauma. Just the things that you have to go through along the way to gain success, the situations that you are put in, the people that you come across, it can create this sense of like paranoia, like, oh my God, I can't trust anyone. You can have a little bit of survivor's guilt, like, oh my gosh, I've made it out of this spot, but then everyone else around me is still suffering. And I feel like I have to carry the weight of the world trying to uplift them. And then other times it can represent just feeling like a little bit of like just having to deal with the depression and anxiety and even reevaluating your goals, because sometimes you hit a goal and you're like, oh, I'm not too satisfied with this. Like I thought this would make me happy, but it doesn't make me happy. But that's what I've seen with the world card reverse. Okay. Just wanted to throw that out there. So next week, maybe a little bit tough, but reversals are generally good. It's a time period to reevaluate our goals, who we are, what we're doing, to make sure we're aligned with our true path, and make sure to relax, guys. You know, with that world card there reversed and the 10 of Wands, make sure you take time for yourself, you know? Yeah, I can understand. I can understand wanting to accomplish a lot or do a lot, but this can be a little bit heavy. Okay, sometimes the world card's a bit like Saturn retrograde, and I think Saturn actually goes direct next week, so it's like in its finale of that retrograde. So that can I can understand that world card reverse a bit. All right, let me get to your question, Smiley. What are Tanya's intentions towards me? We have all of these cards here that have flown out because of the weekly collective. But let's get to your question here. Oh, there is one more thing to the cards flew that I forgot to say about the world card. And that is that sometimes it can represent just creating a new goal or seizing a new opportunity that you didn't quite notice before. But the world card's reverse is like, oh, wow, you know, I see something new in front of me that I can accomplish. Let me reevaluate that goal and go for this. What are Tanya's intentions towards Smiley? Whoa. Yeah, that's too many cards. So they must not want that one. Okay, this card wants to come out. 7 of Pentacles. Give it our focus. We have the 8 of Wands here. And this is the Mean Girls Tarot deck. I'm kind of curious what this says here. She's like a little girl. She like writes all over the notebook. Mrs. Erin Samuels. She made this t-shirt that says I Heart Erin. She wears it under her clothes all the time. This is just kind of like making fun of her for liking Erin from the Mean Girls Tarot deck. Then we have Justice. Is this focusing? All right. So when it comes to Tanya's intentions, it looks like Tanya is really evaluating your relationship and your connection. Now you can see on the Mean Girls Tarot deck, this is not the right card. The Mean Girls Tarot deck, she's looking at all of her bad grades. I think this was when she was like failing math, and Cassie and the Mean Girls when she was failing math and trying to figure out like what to do because she wanted to play dumb for her crush. So if we look at this sort of situation in a way, I feel like Tanya's a little bit, she's in a space of contemplation. And she's trying to figure out how it can work with you two being together. And I think there may be parts of Tanya that she may feel may not work for the relationship, or she thinks she might have to change or transform in some sort of way. I only say that because that Seven of Pentacles on this card in particular, that's exactly what Cassie was doing in that scene, right? She liked Aaron and she was playing dumb. So she didn't like outsmart him or outstage him or something along the lines of that. And I'm not saying she's doing that specifically, but she may be changing her behavior like around you. And so I think with Tanya, she's trying to figure out, how do I like introduce the true me, my true intentions, my true desires, who I want to be, how I want to show up, and will that be something that can work long term within a relationship, or would that cause this to, fizzle out in a way? And then also at the same time, this can show that she feels a bit like there may be aspects of the relationship or even potential relationship, like, not saying that you guys are together, but there may be aspects that she is looking at where she feels as if there's certain things she would like to change, certain things that she would need confirmation on before she invests. I often get the Seven of Pentacles to represent this moment in a relationship where somebody is looking to see if this is somebody who has long-term potential. And normally when they're trying to see what has long-term potential, it's like they have this maybe list of pros and cons in their head. And so they're thinking like, okay, if I'm with this person, these are the things that would go really well. And these are things that would probably need some work on. And so that's where she's kind of at when it comes to part of her intentions. Now, the Eight of Wands there and all of these things about, this person loves Aaron, blah, blah, blah. They're writing Aaron in their notebook. That to me feels like Tanya's actually invested, actually does have feelings, feels a little bit maybe swept away with her emotions at the moment. It feels a lot like a crush, but she doesn't want to get wrapped up in things. And I know that because we have the Justice card. And when I say wrapped up in things, I mean she doesn't want to have her emotions lead her. She doesn't want to just jump into a relationship or a connection just because she feels a certain way. We have that Justice card, which shows she wants to use her brain. She wants to make sure that you two are actually compatible, that it makes sense, that you two can come together and form a great bond, that she can truly be herself around you, and that she can accept all of your quirks or intrignicities, or you know what? I always stumble across that word, but she's trying to basically think about how this relationship can actually work, is essentially what I'm trying to say here. So she is interested. She would like a connection, but she obviously has some hesitations. And that card flew. What card is that? We have the Nine of Pentacles here, and we have the Emperor. So when I look at these cards together, Tanya is looking for stability. She's looking for someone who is going to give her the relationship that she truly desires, that she feels like, I can rely on this person. This person has strong goals. They have a great career. They can take care of themselves. They are independent. They're doing well. The Emperor is somebody with a long-term plan, someone who shows that, hey, I'm doing this thing and this thing and this thing towards my goals. Sometimes you meet people and they might say something like, oh, I'm an artist. And then you ask them, okay, what kind of art have you done? Have you been in galleries? Have you shown off your own work? Have you done anything that is like showing that you are making steps towards being an artist? Like, where can I view your portfolio? Like, who are your clients? But then they don't have anything to back it up. They're just kind of like an artist in name. Tanya right now is looking to make sure that you are showing that you are bringing stability in your life, that you have a solid plan, that you are making steps towards your goals, that you can be someone who could potentially, if she wants kids, father, her children, or take care of children's together, or, mother of children. I don't know what kind of relationship this is, but help her raise kids together, help her build a home, help her build a family. Are the finances in order? Does this person have good habits? Because I get the 9 of Pentacles to represent somebody having good habits, like they know how to cook, clean, take care of themselves, they go to their doctor's appointments, they take care of their mental health. Like, she's looking at all of these things that she would like within a partnership. And so that's essentially like where she's kind of at when it comes to her feelings. And I don't know if you have these things or don't have these things, but these are the things that she's considering and that's on her mind. She does like you. I think that's obvious from the 8 of Wands and the Justice and the 7 of Pentacles. These are cards of like investing your time and energy into a partnership. But like I said, she has reservations, just because she wants that strong sense of stability. And I don't know if you have offered that or shown that or anything. Like, maybe I'm completely off the mark here, but this is what the cards are saying. Hope you're doing so well. I learned so much when I hear you explain the cards. Oh, thank you, Violet. That makes me happy to hear, because that is one of my goals. I want people to be able to read for themselves. And then the last card we have is the Chariot here. Ooh. And that's basically the scene where they're going to the mall, get in, loser, going shopping, whatever. She wants to feel as though, there's a sense of spontaneity and adventure to you, that you can be someone who introduces her to new things, new activities. You're expanding her world. You're growing it. You're developing it. You are someone who is pushing her towards her achievements. And then sometimes this can be quite literal with the Chariot, where she quite literally maybe wants someone who has a passport who can go travel. Sometimes it's that literal. And I really do feel as though when I'm looking at these cards here, the thing that she's looking for within this relationship or this connection is somebody who will ultimately elevate her. Because the Chariot card is always about, how can I achieve the things that I want? How can I make this into reality? How can I make this real? And so she wants someone who can be with her to help her create her goals, or master her goals, or meet her goals, or whatever the case may be. And that's the feeling she wants from this relationship. So her intentions are to build something stable, and she wants to see that within you. She wants to see that you're looking for the same thing, that you are making actual strides towards that, not just in words. She wants to actually see results, essentially, because we have a lot of Pentacles, we have fire. These are all of the things that have to do with, I'm making my desires real. I'm actually materializing them. So that's kind of where she is at with that. But it seems like this person is interested in you. They do like you. They think you have a lot of great qualities. They feel as though you are generally a balanced person. And you're somebody that they feel as though treats them with respect, generally. Like, the Pentacle cards are kind of like very polite, very well mannered. And so that's where we're at with this person's feelings, Smiley. But they do have good intentions. They're not just like, oh, one and done, or I'm not interested, or etc. Blah, blah, blah. And guys, let me know if you have any questions. If you're new to the live, sorry, my brain just blanked. This is how I know I'm tired. You're welcome, Smiley. If you're new to the live, it is $5 for yes or no, $10 for in-depth. And Smiley, did you have another question? And as you can see, there's no limit on the amount of cards that I will pull. I'm just here to make sure that I answer your questions in depth and that you guys get the answers as to what's going on and what Spirit is trying to say. Let me make sure I get this right here. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. It looks like, let's see what the results are saying. Half thriller, half romance. Okay. I can get with that. I might ask your favorite TV genre next week. I wish they gave you more options. I think we need at least 6 for the poll, but that's fine. That is perfectly fine. I think I would pick romance, like I said. I have seen so many romance films. I don't know what it is, but I think what it is like that feel-good feeling, like at the end. You know, it's going to be something that works out and is very, I don't know, very cute. You know, it's like, oh, so sweet. So I'm always looking for like pleasant things in terms of movies because life can be so harsh, man. I'm trying to think of my favorite romance movies. I like Love Jones. I like Pride and Prejudice, the one with Keira Knightley. I like When Harry Met Sally is probably my favorite. I just feel like that one's probably the most realistic one that I've seen. They just did a good job with that movie. When Harry Met Sally is really great. I don't really like The Notebook. I know The Notebook's really popular, but I just can't get with it. You know, I just felt like it's hard for me to get with the ones where people are like cheating on their significant others. And I'm just like, weren't you engaged and married? Like about to get married? I just feel like I can't get with it. I don't like it. If they didn't have the fiance in the picture, then I would probably like it. Ooh. But yes, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in and ask. And don't forget, during the month of December, I don't have the week yet, but as soon as I do, I'm going to announce it here on the live and on the community tab. So be sure to pay attention to those. And I'll probably put it in the comment section of like 1 or 2 videos. But I am going to do a deal on private readings. I'm going to take a percentage off. And so it's going to be, you know, first come, first serve when it comes to those readings for the month of December. So be on the lookout for that if you want a private reading. Ooh. But no announcements from me this week. You know, I haven't been making any plans for, any big plans for the channel yet. Everything is a little bit more long-term in the works. As soon as I get closer to things being complete, I'll announce them for you. But I do have some things upcoming on the pipeline. If you are interested in the monthlies, or if you want to look at the yearly 2026 look ahead, I am offering that for the members only. And that should be up, obviously, by the end of the year. I am currently working on that. So if you're interested, don't forget to join the membership and become a stargazer. I just released the December monthly. You know, I also tried like a more experimental video, 7 days ahead, the next 7 days. I am trying to do more experiments with my memberships just because I know YouTube will punish you, man. Like if you don't do certain videos, they will suppress your views. And I'm like, wow, no experimentation. YouTube used to be more experimental. Hey, Dorella, how are you? Good morning to everyone, or good afternoon or night, where it depends on where you are in the world. But yes, so if you are interested in that type of reading content, I will be putting that on the membership. But the Love 2020s, I will be putting available for everyone. Will TL be reaching out to me before Christmas? Dorella, the readings are paid only. It is $5 for yes or no, $10 for in depth. You can go through PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat. Information for PayPal and Cash App can be found in the description bar below. So anyone new here, as I said before, I'm Brandi. I'm a practical tarot reader and astrologer. I have been reading tarot cards and doing astrology readings and research for like 15 plus years. It's been a very long time. And I like to use my insights and wisdoms to give you a realistic perspective of what might be going on. I do offer private readings for astrology and for tarot. People tend to like the astrology a little bit more. So, feel free to book the astrology reading. I do like to use nakshatras. I go in, I'm like a nakshatra transit. Sometimes I do profections, depending on how complex the chart might be. And I try to unveil to the best of my ability the answers to your questions. So I do want you to know that when it comes to private readings. Also, when it comes to the tiers of the tarot readings, I do offer a little bit more when it comes to the more expensive ones. Sometimes I'll go into numerology or even basically color reading, because different colors represent different things for different cards. Sometimes you get yellow to represent happiness. On this card, we have this more muted yellow. So you can tell that this is kind of like very in line with the Seven of Swords, where it's like, oh, they're happy, but not completely elated because they're taking something that doesn't belong to them, right? So that's part of that energy versus like this Nine of Pentacles, which is very much like, oh, I have my own success. I'm very much pleased. So I'll go into the color reading as well with the higher tier tarot readings. But that is what I wanted to say. And also, if you guys want to look back in the weekly collective, I will post the timestamps after this video, this live ends, so you can go right to the timestamps for the weekly collective. Just as a recap, we pulled the 10 of Wands, the 7 of Swords reverse, and the World card reverse. And sometimes that 7 of Swords reverse can represent like someone getting a bit of karma. Sometimes it can represent a little bit of self-reflection on, maybe I can deliver things differently. Sometimes it can represent, just an honest and transparent moment. I've definitely seen the 7 of Swords reverse to represent like, you know what? Can I be honest with you? I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, that type of moment with the 7 of Swords reverse. And, the World card is obviously like reassessing the goals. Sometimes it's feeling stuck. I usually see it for unfinished business. I still got a few things to do. Sometimes it's like I need a little closure if you're that type of person. But, essentially, it's like things are unresolved. I got to fix something. I'm not quite as fulfilled, right? But that is the energy next week. Just very complex motions we are navigating for Thanksgiving, which is not bad. Some of us might be working Thanksgiving with that 10 of Wands. It's like peak burnout. I know I'm there. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to be done. I'm so done. If you don't know, guys, I'm like in grad school right now. So not to make this conversation all about me, but like, I gotta talk about something. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here staring at the camera at you guys. But that's coming to a close for me. And thus, that's why I'm going to be offering, a percentage off. I think it's 25% off for the readings for December. It's only for like a certain time period in December, but I'll let you know the time period because I want to celebrate with you guys. I'm wrapping up. So I want to like give back and say, hey guys, thanks for supporting me and all that jazz. Oh, and don't forget with the memberships, if you become a member, we do one free questions per month. That will more than likely be next week. Yeah, it's going to have to be next week. And be sure, if you are a member, to sign up for that and to stop by, send a question. I'll be on for about 30 minutes, and you can pre-submit your questions, as I always say, so that your question can be answered that month. Oh, Smiley, you have another question. Will she still want to live with me? I didn't even see that. All right. Okay, this card is coming out. We have the Two of Wands. Let's see if it'll focus. And we have the Four of Wands. And the King of Pentacles. Now, I think so. And this is only because now the Two of Wands can represent like exploring different options. So it's kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But we do have this Four of Wands and this King of Pentacles. So if the environment feels safe, if it feels comfortable, if it feels stable, then more than likely she's not going to want to leave. The Two of Wands generally shows up when someone feels a bit dissatisfied, like there's more out there and etc. But if she feels like you're both in alignment, like this Three of Cups here, if she feels like you are both in alignment, if things are happy, if things are feeling exciting and fulfilled, then the answer is no. And I think it's leaning more toward, the answer is yes. And I think it's leaning more towards yes, because a lot of these cards are just very, very positive, especially this Four of Wands and this King of Pentacles. But like I said, with the Two of Wands, she may be like in her mind thinking about like, how might things be different if I lived this place, or if I live with whatever, this person? Maybe she gets a friend that she lives with or something like that. But I think the answer is yes. It's pretty solid here when it comes to she still would want that. I mean, it's just I can't explain anymore. It's just like a straight up yes. Yes, for the most part. I think the only way she wouldn't want to live with you is if you guys had a very contentious relationship, or if you were like arguing, if you didn't get along, or if you were fighting a lot, then she would say, okay, I don't think so. But if you get along and everything's like fine and there is unity, there's collaboration, it feels as though you guys want the same things, then she's like, all right, this is, I want to be here. I think this is great. I think this feels good to me. Oh, you know what? I forgot to ask you guys. I'll do it next week. You're welcome, Smiley, and good luck with you and Tanya. It seems as though you guys both have mutual feelings. It is the season of love, guys, and I should have known, because you guys are loving the love readings right now. So I'm going to have to do more love readings. I've never seen, well, I can't say I've never seen this demand, but I haven't seen this high of a demand for love readings in a while. So I got to get on it for you guys, because you guys have some love questions. I feel like your love fairy godmother. The universe must be picking up on the fact that I love love. I love romance. I feel like a mini Cupid here. I want to connect you all and make sure that you guys are living beautiful, happy lives, especially when it comes to love and romance and dating. It is such a beautiful thing when two people can connect, especially since, it's so rare. And a lot of it really does depend on luck. You look at a lot of people's stories, which I do, obviously, I'm a lovebird over here, or a love bug, or whatever you call it. And a lot of them will meet through chance. A lot of people meet through like friends, family. That's like the main one. Friends, family, work, school. Those are the like top 4 ways people meet. So if they go to like a friend's party, that friend has like someone there who came with someone, or maybe there's that another person's relative, and they're like, oh, I met at my best friend's party here. Or they might meet through like a family member, similar situation. A family member might be having like some kind of event that they're hosting, or they might be visiting a family member at their apartment complex, and then they run into someone. So trust me, I've been looking up all the ways people have met. I've compiled a list. You guys know I like to study things. So I'm over here studying love and connection. That might be my next astrological study, like where people meet. But yes, I see so many people in the love mood this season, and it makes sense. It's cuddle season, it's cuffing season. I'm just looking at the cards here because there's some of them I haven't seen, and I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. But if there are no more questions, guys, I may close out early and see you all next week. Remember, the members only live, that will be next week as well. If you are a member, feel free to come in and ask a question or two, and we'll get into it. It's only probably going to be about 30 minutes because there are not too many members. And yeah, so thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for coming to the live and asking your questions and participating in the polls. Looks like it's half thriller, half romance. If you count my vote, romance wins. So I'm going to count my vote and say romance wins. Oh, cards are flying there. And thank you all. See you all next week. We'll see how things go. We'll see how things play out. Oof, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. Ugh. Anyway. All right, I'm going to close out. Thank you all for coming. And I will see you next week on the weekend. Maybe Black Friday, maybe Saturday, whatever the case may be. It may be short for both the live, for the public live and for the members only live. All right. Just saying, it's crunch time for me. So I'll see you then, and au revoir.